let's talk about two new fall and Halloween themed collections from two different brands. This is going to be a 2 palettes, 2 looks video. Today we're going to be talking about the new The Witch's Familiar palette, which is so exciting because it is a collaboration with BattyBean and Fantasy Cosmetica. And I'm excited to see this collab because, I mean, even just the artwork itself is so cute. And then we have the Pacific Northwest palette from Nomad Cosmetics, and this packaging is just the coolest thing. They always knock it out of the park with the packaging, but this is just like a whole nother level. I feel like I'm holding a piece of art that I should frame and put up on my wall because this is so beautiful. It actually looks like it's painted in person and it is super cool. So let's talk about these individually. So huge congratulations to BattyBean and Fantasy Cosmetica on this collaboration. I think that it just makes so much sense. I know Betty Jean is a huge fan and has been a long-time supporter of Fantasy Cosmetica, and she's a cat mom and she actually has a black cat. So this is just extra cute. I can't wait to watch her video on this reveal, which I don't know the whole story behind this, but I'm sure that this kitty was illustrated based on hers. Really love the vibes just off of the cover itself. And then on the inside we have purple, red, aqua, and blue. I think it has a great balance of mattes and shimmers. Of course, we have some shifty shades, some duochromes, and some really smooth metallic shadows, and I will be showing you detailed swatches of all the shimmer shadows. This is just such a cute collab. So let's talk about the Pacific Northwest palette. This is a beautiful grungy green color story. If you love green eyeshadows, I mean, this palette is for you. There are some browns as well as blues, but I would kind of call this predominantly a green color story. And these shimmers are so beautiful. And when I first opened this palette, I was like, I want to put all these shimmers on my lids because they all look so beautiful. So let's talk about the details on the palettes. I do have an affiliate code with Nomad Cosmetics that you can use on the palette. The Witch's Familiar palette will not be code eligible. So the Witch's Familiar palette is launching October 1st at 9 a.m. PST, and it is going to be $49.99. And the Nomad palette is launching on September 29th at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I believe it's going to be $59. And I did receive both these palettes in PR, so thank you so much to the brands for sending them over to me. So let's get into the detailed swatches of the shimmer shadows, and then I'll show you the two looks, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. First two shades are Moonlight and Hex. Hex is a slightly larger particle size, just a little bit flakier. And these are both pretty sheer. This one's definitely an iridescent, and this one has more of like a sheer base. I feel like I see a little bit of a grayish base. It's a little bit more sparkly versus this is like a really smooth metallic. This one is an aqua blue straight on and it shifts to a purple. This is a pink that shifts to a lighter pink all the way to peach and then slightly leaning a little bit golden. Next two shades are Oracle and Herbs. You can see slight textural difference here. Oracle is definitely sparklier. I would say these are both pretty opaque with the ability to sheer this one out a little bit. I'm going to add another layer to both of them. So here's Oracle. Oracle does feel also like the particle size a little bit different. It's also definitely way more sparkly. And another layer of Herbs. Herbs is like almost a black-based multi-chrome. It's like a darker eggplant, but it has some really bright purple flecks throughout it. And Oracle, magenta that shifts to gold. You can really see it in the particles. Here's a close-up. Altar is a marbled shade, and so when it mixes in, it looks very kind of jeweled green with a black base and a shift to purple. Love this kind of shade. And then Spells is a red. Look at this one, definitely a black base multi-chrome. And then that purple shift is so cool. And then this one is very opaque. It's definitely like a orange leaning red. Very smooth. First two shades in the Pacific Northwest palette, Cascadia and Sunbreak. I feel like this one is a little bit more powdery while this one is like a uniform smooth. And I love this shade. Oh my gosh, this is such a perfect everyday kind of shade. And then this is like a yellow with a pinky red reflect to it, straight on. And this top shade has a very subtle brown base with a pale green reflect to it. Super beautiful. Next two shades are Mountains Are Out and Cannon Beach. And these are so metallic, so beautiful. This is like a pale icy silver with a little bit of like a washed out denim tone to it. And I see maybe a little bit of a shift that leans purple. And then Cannon Beach is a beautiful sagey green. It's pretty vibrant. Has a little bit of a grayish base. And it shifts to purple. It actually shifts to, it looks like this color. And these are so smooth, so beautiful, but they also have a bit of sparkle. But I mean, look at how reflective. Next two shades are Ecotopia and Coffee Paradise. Love Coffee Paradise. Oh my gosh. It reminds me of something, and I can't put my finger on it, but it is so, so cool, so beautiful. So Ecotopia is more of a black-based jewel kind of multi-chrome. I think the base is definitely a lot lighter, so kind of think of the Clionadh jeweled lights. So you can't really see it, but it's still a jeweled color. And this is a beautiful olivey toned gold with a green shift, and it is super smooth, super metallic. And then Coffee Paradise is so, so stunning. It has a brown base that shifts to purple. And straight on, it's almost slightly greenish, like olive green, but not quite. It's really hard to pinpoint. Next two shades are Crater Lake and Multinoa Falls. And this one has a lighter base as well, more of a grayish base. And this is like a really beautiful icy baby blue with a shift to purple with a little bit of magenta at a really harsh angle. And then Multinoa's Falls. It's kind of like a smoked green, and it has a shift, and I feel like the shift is to a charcoal, which is really interesting. I'm not really sure how many times I've seen that, but it is really, really cool. And it does have gold flecks throughout it, but they're pretty subtle. You can kind of see them there. And then the last shade is Salmon Run, and this is such a beautiful, sparkly, neutral shade. And so far, none of these have felt squishy. They feel like standard shimmer shadows. And this is so beautiful. So it definitely has that peachy salmon tone to it. But the reflex straight on is a little bit lighter. So it's almost slightly silvery. But I also see pale pink sparkles throughout it. But they're pretty subtle. First look will be with the Witches Familiar. I think I'm going to do a little two-tone look. So I'm going to start off with Cauldron on the inner crease. I'm using the Refer 13 Max just to lay it down right in the crease. And I'm going to take it about halfway. And then I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm taking Potion. And it's going to go on the outer half of my crease. And the outer corners, going in with a little bit more. Underneath my lower lash line as well. I'm going to be deepening up, so I'm going in with Coven. I'm just going to pop that right onto my lid using a Hakuhodo brush. The number's kind of coming off, but it's pretty much either the 13 or 14 brush from Refer basically. And it's just going to go right in there, but I don't want to take it up too far. I'm just going to wipe off this brush. I'm picking up Feline, and it's going to go in the outer corner. And underneath my lower lash line. Just kind of slowly getting it in there. I feel like I can't see over my lashes. And I'm going to slowly build that out. And just blend it into that beautiful aqua shade. I'm going to go back in with this fluffy brush and just go over the edges. For the shimmer, I'm going in with Hex right in the center. And I do want to layer it over the plum and the dark blue, just to kind of bring these together. And I did miss my brush with the Carla Cosmetics Mist Potion. And I'm just going to take that up a little bit right in the center in here. Picking up Moonlight as the inner corner highlight. Oh, that's perfect. This shade layered over both of these would be super, super cool. I kind of want to bring the plum just a little bit underneath. I would not really do this on a day-to-day basis because the way my eyeshadow tends to wear is it would just give me complete raccoon eyes. So I wouldn't do this because of my eye shape, like if I was going to work. And then I'm just gonna take the same brush and Hex and just gotta reflect it down here. Very, very pretty. It's got like a little bit of a flakiness to it, but it's smoothed out really nicely. I'm actually gonna go in with my finger as well, because I think that's when I'll be really able to intensify it, especially right in the center of my lid. And here's the finished look with the Witch's Familiar palette. That shade is so sparkly. The second look is the Pacific Northwest palette. I really want to use this duochrome, but I feel like there's so many beautiful shimmers in here. Like I really want to use these two as well. Oh, it's really hard to decide on a look, and this duochrome is so stunning. I forgot to mention I primed with the Ulta Beauty Matte Veil Eyeshadow Primer on both eyes. I'm taking PNW, and I'm gonna put that into the outer crease. And underneath my lower lash line, just connecting it, just like that. And then of course we're gonna deepen this up. Taking Sasquatch Sighting, and it's gonna go right on the outer corner and really kind of pack it on before I start blending it. I'm gonna bring it underneath my lower lash line as well, and then slowly start to blend it into that lighter shade. I'm gonna switch back to the larger brush. Just really want to blow this out. And then picking up Pacific Crest, I'm gonna put that right on the inner crease, just blending it up. Actually, I think I want to put it on the lid as well. So I'm going to take a little bit more of a flat brush. This is the 01 Mini from Refer. And I'm just going to put that on. Definitely a little bit thin, but it does build up very nicely. For the shimmer, I am undecided. So first I'm going to put down the Shine On Shimmer Shadow Enhancer with me and Clionadh's collab. Kind of all over the lid. And as always, I like to just tap on it, make sure I take any excess off. And then I'm gonna take Sunbreak, and it's gonna go right on the inner lid up into my crease. Just gonna smooth that up and kind of swoop it up. And then for the rest of the lid, I think I'm gonna go in with Cascadia. Oh yeah, that is such a beautiful shade. Oh my gosh. It's so, so pretty. It's also interesting to see it next to the pink. But this shade would be such a great, interesting one and done. I'm gonna go back in with Sunbreak on my pinky. I just want to really like intensify it up here. Just really get it to be really kind of fully opaque. Taking a Towering Sea Stacks under the rest of my lower lash line. And then do I want to do an inner corner? I'm not sure there is a way for me to do an inner corner. I don't think there's anything I would have used. Yeah, let me just go back in with Sunbreak. I'm just going to use my pinky. Just pop it in a little bit here. And here's the finished look with the Pacific Northwest palette. So this is very much a first impression, and this look is actually a combination of these two palettes together. I really wanted to mix them together. Let's talk about the Witch's Familiar palette. Again, really cute color story. I like that it's a smaller 12 pan, really curated. I'm excited to do a look featuring the reds, and I'm so excited to see the looks that BattyBean comes up with, because she always has the coolest looks, different techniques, as well as color combinations. So I'm excited to see and take some inspiration from that. I really like the shimmers in here. None of these are squishy. Some of them are a little bit slightly more textured. For example, this one, which I talked about in the detail swatches, this one's more smooth, shiny, that is sparkly, and then the shade is pretty sparkly, and these other ones are just a little bit on the smoother metallic side as well. So I think it's a really nice balance. You get a little bit of everything. I like that there's nothing really flaky and just a little bit harder to use. I feel like these are all easy to use with a finger, with a brush. I would recommend a tacky primer if you are prone to creasing, but like I said, none of these feel squishy. They do feel like more of like a regular shimmer formula. Some of them swatch just a little bit thicker, and I do also like that some of them are a little bit sheer and some of them are a little bit more opaque. I always love that in a palette, especially because of the way that I usually build my looks. I like to have more opaque kind of shade here, and then a more sheer sparkly shade kind of on the inner corner to highlight. The mattes definitely feel right on par with other Fantasy Cosmetica palettes, so if you really enjoy their palettes, I don't see why you would not enjoy this palette. And of course, the theme is super cute. The artwork is really adorable as well. So again, huge congratulations on this collaboration to BattyBean and Fantasy Cosmetica. On to to the Pacific Northwest palette. I love this color story. It is super earthy, definitely perfect for fall. I feel like this is a color story that I would for sure reach into because I think you can create some really easy looks with this color story. I definitely think you're gonna probably mostly lean to more greenish looks predominantly, depending on, of course, like if you decide to not pair any of the greens with the browns or the blues. But I do feel like this definitely does lean a little bit more green, which I don't mind at all because it's like different tones of green and different levels of green. There's some really beautiful shimmers in here that I cannot wait to wear, specifically Coffee Paradise and Salmon Run. I mean, they are so beautiful. Nomad has really figured out their shimmers, and I feel like they just keep getting better and better. They had some that were a little bit squishy and some earlier palettes from this year, but I really feel like they've locked it down, and these are so stunning. I think some of them are just like a little bit less sparkly, but they're just so smooth and shiny and really still beautiful. I think they look very elevated. And then of course we have some more sparkly shades like this one right here and this one, and then we have like a really smooth high shine metallic right here, like a liquid multi-chrome type of shade. Overall, there's a really nice variety of shimmers, but again, I would say predominantly like they are definitely green because I feel like these and this one lean greenish. I feel like you might be able to lean this one away from green a little bit depending on the mattes that you pair it with. And then this duochrome shade is so beautiful. It actually reminds me of the shade that they had in the Tokyo palette, and I remember loving that shade, especially around the time that it came out. As for the mattes, they do feel on par with other Nomad Cosmetics palettes, so if you already enjoy their matte formula, there's nothing striking me as this is a different matte formula. I don't think that they would be changing it at this point anyway. Definitely want to make sure that it's consistent across the palettes. Their matte formula does tend to have a little bit more kick up in the pan, and I do prefer to go from dark to light with their mattes as well, because I have run into issues previously where if you put down too much of one shade and then you try to build on it, it sometimes does not want to stick down, and that's just how some matte formulas are. So I don't really mind having to build the other way, but definitely something I'm aware of when I work with their mattes. So overall, really beautiful palette. I think they really knocked it out of the park. I also do like that they do the shimmers and then the mattes in columns. I think that's really cute, and of course, beautiful packaging. Indie brands of course always come through with the fall launches. I mean, they cannot be stopped. They have the coolest ideas for color stories and themes, and I'm always so excited to see what is coming out from some of my favorite brands like Fantasy Cosmetica and Nomad Cosmetics. So stay tuned because I do have quite a few other palettes to talk about on my channel. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on picking either of these palettes up. I would love to hear your thoughts, and if you enjoy this kind of content and you love seeing up close swatches of some shimmery shiny shadows and tutorials, then I will have some of my other videos up on the screen. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.